Current time check. Let's see here. It is 7:40. I think that clock's 4 minutes ahead, FYI. But it's 7:40, and we're continuing from where we left off yesterday, which was page 63. I'm going to reread the last part of page 63 going in. I got my ceiling fan on today, so that's why there's that constant maybe I'll just turn it off. There we go. Turn that light on because it helps me. Alright, so last time we read, it was yesterday, and I actually uploaded the video today because I just didn't get time to edit it. What I learned about myself in the last video is I got a little bit better. After rewatching the videos, the entire video, I feel like I need to... I'm like, ugh. It's hard to watch, but I know over time, building up to where I want to be, this is what I need to do. So let's start. Let me give you another example. If I sell somebody a bikini body, their time delay to realize the outcome may be 12 months or even longer. Along the way, although as they change their bodies, they may experience higher sex drive, more energy, and an increased community of friends. Boom. They aren't initially buying those things, but things may become short-term benefits that keep them in for the long game, or in the long game, long enough to achieve their ultimate outcome. They buy the dream, but they stay for the benefits they discover along the way. The faster and more clear you can demonstrate those benefits, the more valuable your services will be. For a weight loss customer, we would get them to meet someone else so they immediately had some social benefits from the program. And we would usually give them more an aggressive diet in the beginning. Why? Because we want them to have a big, fast emotional win so we could get them to commit to the long term. This is also backed by science. People who experience a victory early on are more likely to continue with something than those who do not. That being said, having to wait 12 to 24 months to get what you want is a huge 12 to 24 months to get what you want is a long time when you can do lip suction and be done in an afternoon. Lip suction. Lip suction is when you get the fat sucked away, for those who don't know. And be done afternoon. This shows just one reason people pay $25,000 for lip suction with a tummy tuck, while people will barely pay $100 a month to join a boot camp. But that's not the only reason, is it? That leads me to the last driver of value: effort and sacrifice. Pro tip: fast beats free. The only thing that beats free is fast. People will pay for speed. Many companies have entered free spaces and done exceedingly well with a speed-first strategy. A few notable examples are the MVD versus the DMV. While waiting in line forever or paying $50, you can skip the line and get your license renewed privately. FedEx versus USPS. When is obviously positive. FedEx versus UPS. When it is absolutely, positively has to be there overnight. Spotify versus slow free music. Uber versus walking. Fast beats free. Many will always be willing to pay a price for the value of speed. So if you find yourself in a market competing against free, double down on speed. 4. Effort and sacrifice. This is what it costs people in Ancillary cost, ancillary cost. I don't know what that means. aka other costs occurred along the way. They can be both tangible and intangible. Using the fitness versus lip seduction example, lip suction example, let's look at the difference in effort and sacrifice. Here they have a little chart here that describes the effort and sacrifice. Okay. Massive difference, right? In fact, in looking at the market of plastic surgeons, these are the exact pain points they hit on when they say things like tired of wasting countless hours in the gym, tired of trying diets that just don't work. This is why when you sell fitness, you have to spend an hour arm wrestling a client to give 1/10 to 1/100th of the money they pay for the surgery. There's just not a perceived value because the perceived likelihood of achievement, the time delay to achievement, and the effort and sacrifices are so high. So even though the outcome is the same, the value of the vehicles are dramatically different, hence the difference in price. Decreasing the effort and sacrifice, or at least the perceived efforts and sacrifice, can massively boost the appeal of your offer. In an ideal world, a prospect would want to simply say yes and have their dream outcome happen with no more effort on their behalf. This is why done-for-you services are almost always more expensive than the do-it-for-yourself, because the person doesn't have all the effort and sacrifice. There is also a component of perceived likelihood of achievement difference as well. People believe that if an expert does it, then they will be more likely to achieve the outcome than if they try on their own. My hope is that you now have the fundamental understanding of the components of value and how the interplay between each of the components created or detracts from the value someone might be willing to pay you. Put it all together. As I said earlier, these elements of value do not happen in a vacuum. They happen together in combination. So let's look at a few examples that utilize all four components of a value at once. In an effort to quantify the value, I'll rate them on a binary scale of 0 or 1. 1 being value achieved, 0 being missing. Then I will add four together to give you a relative value rating of a type of service. Our goal as marketers and business owners is to increase the value of the dream outcome and perceived likelihood of achievement, while decreasing the time delay of achievement and the effort and sacrifice one has to put together there. To start, I will do a side-by-side comparison of two vehicles with identical dream outcomes, meditation and Xanax. Both offer a relaxation, decreased anxiety, and feeling of well-being. I will demonstrate how the other three variables dramatically shift the value of delivering that dream outcome and ultimately the price. Example, dream outcome, in quotes, relaxation, decreased anxiety, feeling of well-being, meditation versus Xanax. And on this side, they have a big chart. That at the top of the chart, it says value, meditation, score, Xanax, and score. Right? So dream outcome, the value measure for the dream outcome, relaxation, decreased anxiety, and feeling of well-being, has a score of 1. And Xanax also has the same on 1. Perceived likelihood. I'm not even going to read this because basically the summary of this graph shows that perceived likelihood and time delay and effort and sacrifice are 0, 0.5, and 0. And then overall value have 1.5, right? Where Xanax has 4 out of 4. And the reason why they do that is because the time delay for Xanax is like that. And for meditation, it takes a while. You got to practice different meditations, etc., etc. Moving on. Funny enough, I started reading this book about a year ago. And I think we're coming up on the part where I stopped reading it. I just literally stopped reading. I don't know why. I just, like, didn't have the time, or I don't know what excuse I came up with in my head. But we're going to finish it this time. There's a total of, like, 163 pages. We're on 68. And that is why Xanax is a multi-billion-dollar production. While I know of almost no multi-billion-dollar meditation business value. I'm not here to argue about whether meditation is better than Xanax. Obviously, it isn't. But that doesn't mean it's perceived as more valuable. This is also the reason that the supplement industry is $123 billion Grand View Research is twice the size of the health club industry at $62 billion. IHRSA. I don't know what the hell that is. They both accomplish the same perceived objectives, being healthy, losing weight, looking good, increasing energy, etc. But one is perceived as more valuable because it has lower cost. People are willing to pay $200 for supplements, then they are a $30 or $29 a month membership taking a pill or drinking a shake. It is so much faster and easier than going to the gym every day. Hence valued. Crazy world we live in. And you can either sit there and make complaining posts about how people ought to be a certain way, or you can take advantage of the way people are and capitalize. This book is for those who want to be victorious, not victims of circumstances. You can either be right or you can be rich. This book is for getting rich. If that bothers you, just put this down and go back to arguing against human nature. Hint, you are not going to change it. Now, that being said, knowing what people value versus what is good for them is key. It means you can find ways to monetize these things that people value in order to give them what they really need. Win-win. You can make your dent in the universe while making profit. The next chapter is called Free Will. It is page 69, and we have been going for about 13 minutes, so I think I'm going to cut that there. And we're going to move on and into the next day. Thank you guys so much for watching day 12 of reading every single day to improve my speech. I kind of like bit my own words at the end there. Maybe that's why I stopped reading, because I was like, oh, it's a get rich quick book, and even though I know it isn't. See you guys next one.